Speaker, and Benjamin Kalu is Deputy Speaker as well. All of this happened yesterday. There was a slight drama, a bit of what people have referred to as muscling of the members as it is yesterday on the floors of the green chambers, where they had to take voice votes, open ballots, to elect their the presiding officers of the assembly. Well, we'll also look at Senator Bulkachuwa's statement at the valedictory session of the 10th Assembly of the Senate. As it is, he made some very indicting statements against himself and his wife. We'll look at that as well, and the conversation will continue. My guest this morning is Dr. Law Mefo, a public intellectual and a political analyst, joining us this morning. Good morning, Doctor. Good to have you join us.
Yeah, good morning, my brother. Good morning, Nigerians.
Good morning again. Now, Doctor, let's begin with the inauguration yesterday at the National Assembly. First of all, the process began really early. The inauguration was slated for 10 o'clock, and by 8 o'clock, all of the members were there. And one senator was said to have even mentioned that, look, some of them were there as early as 4 o'clock or 4:30 in the morning. What do you make of what transpired? What's your observation of what transpired yesterday on the floors of the National Assembly?
Yeah. Well, for me, I want to say that democracy won to a very large extent, and I also want to say that party supremacy also won, and the ruling APC that has majority both in Senate and the House of Reps, and was able to produce the principal officers. I think it's healthy. However, I must say that opposition didn't show sufficient resilience, especially in the House of Reps, where as many as 330 out of 336 members, elected the speaker. It's unprecedented. It doesn't show. It doesn't show that we are likely to have robust minority politics. What you call opposition politics, because. In a presidential democracy, the parliament is organized in what you call ruling and opposition political parties. And when you talk of legislative independence, Nigerians mostly would be looking at the Senate President and the Speaker. But to be honest, it is the job of opposition to ensure legislative independence, and not the job of the ruling party. The ruling party would want to see harmony, so that their activities, their programs, their projects, would pass through the National Assembly seamlessly, with little or no opposition at all. So where you don't have virile opposition, shown that it is capable of organizing itself, you have the same kind of ninth National Assembly, where opposition was practically absent. Because if you see the kind of things that were dumped on Nigerians, like the frivolous loans and all that, men like Emefiele, were cleared by the Senate as CBN government. So what showed that the opposition really did its work? There's nothing to show. Now you have about 77 trillion naira loan dumped on Nigerians, and today you have up to 93% of our annual national receipts going to debt servicing. So you can see that the opposition wasn't quite there. It means they were there and allowed the Lawan as Senate President and the Bajabi Amila as Speaker to have their way without any constructive opposition that would show, dangers ahead if certain measures and actions were taken. You know, minority leader in House of Reps. They put the PDP government on their toes. We didn't see that in the last 4 years at least. So what happened yesterday? Yes, democracy won, but opposition, I'm not seeing them. I can't see why 330 members, only six voted for, Wase, and the other guy, six.
I think the number is 359 or 59 of them or so.
Yes.
Also getting 353 votes for Tajuddin Abbas. Now, looking at that number, the opposition put together would have made about 184 members if they had, formed an alliance to say we don't want this. But they all agreed to have Tajuddin Abbas as provided by the APC. Now, do you see a situation, because some of them are justifying this to say, look, we agreed for this because we see that Tajuddin is good for leadership, but the main game of lawmaking hasn't started, and that when they get into plenary or those sessions, that's when opposition is expected, and not at the point of electing the leaders of the assembly. What do you make of that argument?
Yes, that argument is also valid to a reasonable extent, because if you check the personal records of somebody like Abbas, he holds the record of the honorable member that produced the most bills in the 9th National Assembly. So it's something that the work rate is quite high, and then. He is coming from academic background, so can be seen as a technocrat. He has experience on his side. I think he's a third timer. So it's quite qualified. Really qualified. So they can settle for him. Opposition can settle for him, and not try to put somebody else there. But for me, it's still a red flag. Good, because we didn't see opposition come out